Because we haven't been able to declare our own estimate since the occupation occurred. So you have to put yourself in that context and understand that. It's not your land. We have a trust. Our team, the people set it up. The commitment has probate trust. And it has all the assets. No one owns the land. It's fully out of it. No one else can talk about it. It's not your land. You never owned it. It's to take care of our people. And those who have their allegiance to our people. There's a difference.
And that's where I'm saying a lot of our people have kind of lost their way.
Yeah.
And so
there we
those are the
have
ones we
genocide.
want to bring back. We want them to start focusing again.
Yeah, Michelle needs to know that she's the evidence of the genocide.
Yeah.
She's the perfect example of genocide.
Anyway, so there, yeah.
So Prince Trujillo made a big impact, apparently, because he went to Congress and said the people are dying and need housing. So he created a housing. Here we have human rights. And what we have right now is health disparities. Because the first thing you ask them, the answer to you is, we need a job. So how do you create jobs in these guys? And the biggest impact we're getting is our communities. Social, economic development. Social, community, economic development. And
But this is where I'm headed.
yeah.
Our people are the best ones to answer those questions and to create the solutions to this, not somebody else or someplace else. And
Come to our culture.
Yeah.
We have the answer for our land.
Right. And we have the way how we work together.
Well, one of the things that's impacting us is education. So we all know these in the
Well, because everybody wants to be like the trustees. We get 1.8 million acres to manufacture and create these processing.
But you don't realize we have the whole 4 million acres.
Yeah.
We don't have the 1.8. The kingdom is the whole archipelago.
Even yet we have better fraction, like you're talking about, what if they shut the oil down right now?
We
Well,
don't need that.
okay.
We didn't have oil.
Okay, but what we're talking about is,
We'll be in one rage right now.
what we're talking about
But you're dealing with
Look,
Americans. They don't.
is how are we gonna answer those questions? Not how somebody
our own
else,
answer.
That's
how
what I'm
we
saying.
gonna, and so we better be preparing ourselves for that. Yeah,
Thank you.
And I did tell Michelle this a few years ago. You know those folks that occupy, they had a good idea. I think we should just go occupy our homestead lands.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Occupy homestead lands. I think we should just go there and occupy homestead lands.
okay.
That's
Well,
what the big thing.
Tanaka land is every single square inch of the land. We can occupy every single square inch of the land.
At least make a statement, go there, put your tent up or put tents up or what have you, right? And then bring the homeless there.
Yeah, true. We'll send the
Yeah.
homeless back where they came from first. Then we worry about our own people. Take care of our own people first.
Yeah, okay.
That's an
Okay,
American
Micah.
mind.
By the way, I
So-
gotta say one more thing. When you explained to me a couple weeks back that how touched you were by long distance from New York or wherever, watching what was happening here in Hawaii, guess what? Those were the right people that were
Yeah.
present, involved.
Right.
Those are the ones I want
Yeah.
more involved. Because the others that weren't there are those that know they don't belong here. So just be aware of that.
Right.
So we had the right ones coming out to those meetings. Those are the ones I want.
Okay, good. All right, we're going to move on now. I've got another sheet of paper to hand out, so if you can get this around, just pass them on both sides. Okay. So the idea is how do we, as individuals and as small groups, how do we affect these changes that need to happen? And we're not talking about how do we build the government or how do we solve the problem of homelessness. We want to talk about how do we individually matter and how can we do our kuleana and have that kuleana become a part of all the other people doing their kuleana, which then builds a whole new movement. So these are kind of things that our group, the Committee of Hawaiian Nationals, need kokua on, and that is, earlier we talked about you looking into the banking situation, and what is your name, by the way? What is your name? What is your name? Andrea. Okay. And Andrea looking into the possibility of OHA providing some funding for more education for different viewpoints here. So if we can start thinking in terms of what we can individually do, how we can contribute toward the effort, everything counts. And as you know, I have a bunch of things listed down here that are just kind of things that we would like to do as a Committee of Hawaiian Nationals. But there are also all other ways you can kokua. So I just wanted you to take a look at this and consider what you might be able to do. So the first part is just do what's already out there, which is continue participating in these various events and celebrations, because of course if we remember these events and these times, these sacred times, we actually reaffirm that we are part of that. Like the Ku'e petition display and things like that is a very powerful reminder to us that we are not alone. We're not just starting now. We're part of a movement that started a long time ago and has a future. We're going someplace. So those different kinds of events are really important to remind ourselves, and then arrange to have updates, to talk to groups. It doesn't have to be somebody like me or anything, but just organize families and friends in your community to go and talk to them and to just share ideas and say, okay, how can we solve a particular problem, or how can we move where we want to go to as a group here. And then we want you to distribute information. All of us has a lot of information. Some of the stuff I heard tonight, I hadn't heard before. Some of it, so we all have information. We have to somehow be able to pull these things together and then to help to distribute them out, as well as weed through a lot of the misinformation that's out there. So if we can work together in that way, and I'm not exactly sure who will help us to organize that, but if there's somebody here who would like to do that, we can do that. In order to distribute the information, we need to assemble it first, or find it and put it out there. Pono back there with his camera is just always putting out information so much over the internet. So and then participate in Ku'e actions like the list that we had shown you before, just a few of these Ku'e actions. And then volunteer to help with specific tasks and projects, like a couple of you have already tonight. Then down here are more things that we're looking at, specific things that in helping to develop online networking, media production and print, video, film, YouTube, etc., that promote independence for Hawaii, help develop communications network. All of these things are skills that could be very useful to the movement. Even if you don't contribute it to this group, it's something that every one of us, or those of you who have the skills, can use to promote that. Logistical support, providing equipment, tents, tables, chairs, refreshments for special events, those types of things. Provide office facilities, workstation, meeting rooms, etc. We're really grateful to Namea for providing this as a meeting room. It's right in the middle of their business, but they're saying we can use this, and it's very helpful, and it helps the whole movement. Other logistical support like printing, signage, transportation, hauling, all kinds of things that can be useful to the movement. So don't think of only in terms of academic or intellectual or legal or those kinds of gifts. We can all contribute together. Networking, inviting more people to become involved. And these are your friends and families and neighbors. And find people with special skills and talents who can help the effort. And connections to persons of influence, celebrities, dignitaries, etc., who could be potential supporters. Hawaii has a really interesting situation. There are a lot of celebrities who live in the Hawaiian Islands, and they call Hawaii home, like a second home at least. But they've got large estates and things like that. And almost everyone that I've heard comment about the Hawaii situation, most of them know about it, even very superficially, but they know about it. And they actually sympathize with our movement, almost all of them. But we've not really activated that particular group to help us or to speak up. I saw Ted Danson say something really profound one time a few years ago about Hawaii. But other than that, the others have been fairly silent. We need to invite them to start to talk about our situation and to start to point the world to look at what's happening here. And we can do that if we can organize something to feed them the information.
But
So,
excuse me,
yeah.
you're gonna see their real colors when you whisper in their ears, you don't own the land, it was never yours.
Right, yeah. Well,
Maybe
we'll see.
Abercrombie, maybe you can recruit Abercrombie, I hear he's available.
He's too far gone. He came here in 1960,
Okay.
already a program.
Yeah. And then, of course, financial support, contributions, finding grants and sponsorships for specific projects. That's like going to Oahu and finding a thing. They may require us to come up with specific projects, which is I can understand. So,
We have ideas here, so would it be hard to pitch projects?
yeah. Okay. So anyway, so I want you to look this over and take the time to just jot in or check off some things that you're interested in doing, and then put your name on the bottom and your email address, etc. So if you could take a few minutes right now, we can do that.
Just one last
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
You mentioned about the farmland. Okay, what do you suggest, going after that? What do you suggest?
I suggest you go talk to Williams and Chang, see what he has in mind. You want me to? Yeah. Well, no, I tend to agree with them. I think that everything boils down, as regarding the United States, everything boils down to show us the treaty. If we can focus every one of our questions on that, because it speaks to jurisdiction. If they cannot show us a treaty, they have no jurisdiction. And it destroys any kind of claim that they have. Show us the treaty. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a great idea if you brought Livingston to come and start here again in St. Benjamin.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mikey will be helpful at that. The other thing is, it's ironic, yeah, that we can talk all we want about independence, whatever far back looks like, but we still need some economic means, because this is what you're asking, to kokua.
Mm-hmm.
And that kokua means some way of supporting the movement. I don't care which part of the movement you live. Some of you may know me from before. But the irony of it is, the second strategy has to be, how do we address the economic needs of our people? Because when you give up the American way, you better have something to fall into.
Right.
Also, we could just compound homelessness, health problems, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all pushing to make sure our mokuna
Yeah.
can make it in this rough world in some way.
Right.
So it would be kind of interesting to know a little bit more about what you've seen and experienced at the international level.
I think those who are working on putting governments together can answer that quite well, because I don't believe that anybody is saying we give up the economic ability to support ourselves. Because one of the things is that the United States actually has a huge obligation to the Hawaiians, and that the funding from that obligation, just like they give trillions of dollars to other nations that they invade, and they pull out and they give trillions back to them for reparations and all that. I don't think that we are going to be in a position where our funding will suddenly drop out. But certainly we need to get on a much better economic situation just for the future of ourselves. So I don't think the funding is going to disappear immediately, but at the same time there'll be a period of time where we have to readjust and say this is our economic base.
So in the international work that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
is there any discussion on how Native peoples can survive until they attain that level?
Yeah, actually, there's been many examples of that, of them actually. There's examples on both ways, but there have been quite a few examples of countries actually being able to transition very easily, very well. Probably the most outstanding will be the Baltic states, from Russia, and several of the other states that dropped out of the Soviet Union.
I think you got to be careful how we address this stuff. Because when you say we're going to be uniting the United States and we're going to be a Hawaiian National and we're going to be independent, on one hand you say we're going to cut them off, and on the other hand you're saying that they're going to fund us.
That doesn't mean you cut them off. What it means is that we become the determinant who makes the decisions for ourselves. They can still be friends, and they still have an obligation to.
But if you notice the DOI hearings that was going on, most of the people are already rallying to cut these guys off.
Yeah.
But what we're saying over here is we want to go in a win-win situation. Obama did put funding in unemployment, go green and whatnot.
Don't you understand there's damages to be paid?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Overwhelming damages to be
there's
paid.
reparations.
So we don't have to worry about funding. They owe us a lot. Clean up every square inch of this land that they've contaminated and return it to the source. We have the answers for our people.
Yeah.
Quit thinking American. You're the evidence of the Americanization, the brainwashing, and you gotta step aside and see why you're thinking that way. Because you've been brainwashed.
That's just what you're saying.
If you know that, you know your culture, you know that the culture has the answer.
We're still speculating.
They have the answer for our people.
No,
Every
actually,
indigenous
so
people are not
the
lost.
question
they know
asked,
their answers
question
for their
asked
people.
earlier is the thing is, the international law and the international community is in a different stage where it was 50 years ago, or even 20 years ago. In other words, once we break through to that point where we are asserting and we are functioning as an independent nation, or even not fully functioning yet, the entire weight of the United Nations and other countries that are out there, not a part of the United Nations, they actually get behind us. And the United States is compelled at that time to take care of the damages that they've done, particularly reparations and all that. So we have to be the ones. Our main problem is going to be to use it wisely. Not that we won't have enough money, but to use it wisely so that we can use it to generate, to heal.
I'm not saying we don't have it. I'm saying where is it? I'm saying like right now, how many of our boys in prison were Pono State? From 2010, 56,000 kids got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
In Arizona right now,
Yeah,
we
so
got
don't you think that would
50,000
change?
of our men over there,
Right.
even the men and children.
Okay.
A lot of our families right now are being homeless. I just went through a whole bunch of stuff on being.
But you don't think that's going to change under the Hawaiian Kingdom?
I'm not saying it's not going to be.
None of our boys
Okay.
will be the criminals
What
that
I'm
the U.S.
saying
made us
is
to.
that you do two birds with one stone.
And you don't understand that the federal government pays the state of, the de facto state of
Okay.
about 90-something thousand for each
That's a
local
community.
boy they can incarcerate.
Yeah.
They're paid
Okay.
off, 90,000
All right.
plus.
No, we know
Okay.
that. But I guarantee
We're gonna.
I guarantee you got the all in.
We're the golden
Okay. Well,
First thing they're gonna tell you is,
Kyoki.
I need one job.
Kyoki, come up with some answers. come up with some answers.
That's the
How
answer.
we're gonna-
Economics.
Yeah.
Obama will put in.
I agree. Okay,
APEC.
so that's,
APEC is designed, that's what APEC was designed, to bring in manufacturing companies. They're doing
No.
this in
It's
Indonesia.
great.
That's
APEC is
corporate
great.
mindset.
okay,
You represent-
okay, hold on.
Rapist,
Hold on.
rapist, spread your legs.
We're gonna end this
That's
part
more
of the
wider.
conversation, thanks.
But that's
Okay,
not-
mahalo.
I'm not saying go APEC.
Yeah,
The theme is process.
I
Baron,
think it's a mistake.
It's like aloha,
I think it's a
welcome.
mistake to rely on the American economic system as a model for
yeah,
Hawaii.
right,
Because I think we have the opportunity to re-examine where we are and where we're going. And there's a lot to be said for subsistence agriculture,
Yeah.
yeah,
food independence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the elephant in the room too is people are afraid to be a third world nation or to lose a level of Western
Yeah.
comfort that we've come to love and hang on to. I mean, I can say that because I am a Westernized child.
Mhm.
I mean, look at me, look at
Yeah.
us. You know, but I think we shouldn't be worried about those
That's
things.
right.
They'll come.
yeah,
You know, we gotta go through the hurt, the struggle. I mean, the ugly. We're going through the ugly eventually. I mean, I may be a bit naive. I'm not Hawaiian, but I'm telling you, you know, in just learning all that stuff from other nations, we need to get in the ugly
yeah,
and get through the ugly.
yeah,
It is what it. I come from a
And-
third world nation. I know what the struggle is.
right,
You know, we can live off the land for a bit. You know.
yeah,
And you, the Hawaiians have
That's
done
just
that
part
for
of
so
the
long.
Yeah, but we were
transition.
never a third world country.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
never.
right.
We were never a third
Of
world
course not.
country.
No.
Yeah.
We were ahead of the.
Never
We
that.
were
Okay,
ahead of
okay.
the
No,
time.
but under
Yeah.
occupation.
yeah, good point. Yeah, we have to be, and that's part of the whole thing about asserting our nationality and asserting who we are as a people, as our identity, because we can do these things. Our
Look at
forefathers,
Singapore. That
our
tiny
forefathers
country does
overcame all of
Look at
those
Hawaii.
things.
Hawaii
You can't
grew
love Hawaii.
Yeah.
immensely
So,
more.
so we need to build our confidence and our faith in
Let's
our
not
own.
look at everywhere else. Let's look right back at home.
Yes.
The answers are all here at home. Quit running away to Europe, Croatia, and everywhere else. Stay here at home. We have the answers.
Right. Okay,
And ask-
Paul Nui, I'll give you the last word.
At least not confused, Kanata, anyway.
I'm getting confused.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You never
I set
change.
you up. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm all the way from Waianae.
That's,
okay, you gotta speak up a
What I
little more.
came for is bonding.
Yeah,
Bonding. Bond together.
Hey,
Not idea. Is that bond as one. I don't know how many things like this going on. Maybe in Oahu, maybe on the other side of the island,
Mhm.
or maybe Hawaii, or maybe in Waianae. I don't even know.
yeah.
I heard about this one and why I came. And
I want you to come to
Okay.
the Waianae Peace Center.
yeah,
I was born in Nanakuli. Reason why I'm here, I live up tentless.
Mhm.
There was a reason why. But my wife knew the reason, and they're very kind of poor. My mom gave me the homestead, Nanakuli, homestead, Hawaiian homestead. Yeah, my dad, pure Portuguese. He said, son, let's get a trailer, put the house, jack them up, and let's take this house off this land, and we go buy another land, Hakimo Road, and we put it over there where we can be in peace. Not saying one day my grandchildren won't have to leave this land. We gotta, whatever you think about, whatever you mind think about your babies, the children. I think what we're going to do now is this and that.
right.
It's going to affect them. It's going to affect them. And that's what I really
Right,
want.
and that's why we also need to include
It's wonderful. This is
our
wonderful.
mo'opuna and those in this visioning about where we're going, because it's for them and for those.
I don't know if you know me. We've been quite a while
Yeah.
now, and I don't know if you know how many would be off your mind holding sessions like this. You know, it's good to know. Then maybe one day, 10 years from now, or maybe next year, we can get it all together
Like,
and talk story.
All right.
For not us, the children.
yeah,
Let me see
That's
something.
why we get two,
okay, short, yeah. It's
think
2
about the
minutes.
babies.
2 minutes.
They're
Okay,
first.
Okay, thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Pinoy. I just want to say thank you for all of you guys coming here. Big handful, Leon.
Oh,
The thing is, as you guys well know, Leon and some other people, Dennis and, I know Sterling, you've been going traveling too, right? A lot of people have been traveling in behalf of the Hawaiian Nation, yeah? And they travel basically on, I don't even know how they get there. I don't even know how they eat, yeah? On it. And these things go on, and they're amongst people that basically have money or backing from their countries. Yeah? These guys, they go and there's no backing from the country. Yeah? You cannot go to OAHU and say, hey, I'm going to go to the UN and discuss independence. Yeah?
I have.
The thing about it is, what I want to leave with you, I want to leave this picture with you. You are no different than the people of 1893 meeting somewhere when the crap was going on at the Alihali
Yeah,
Supreme Court,
yeah.
when they read the petition, the proclamation, okay? When the Marines landed, the Queen told the people, go home, yeah? Go home, I'll take care of it, yeah? The people went home, but they gathered. They gathered somewhere just like what we're doing. Yeah? Tonight, the audacity of the media on KITV, the governor's debate, yeah? Hanneman, Iona, Iggy, they ignore this guy, Jeff Davis. They ignore him because he has answers. And his answers are not in line what their program is. All three of those other candidates have the same program. All they do is change titles. Just like the Crown lands, when go bingo, became government lands. Nobody could say anything. So it's important for you to understand this. I look at that when they did that KITV. I wanted to just leave here. I wanted to go down there and just go picket KITV and get 1,000 Hawaiians over there. Okay? And I hope Jeff Davis sue the state of Hawaii and KITV. Discrimination. All right. But these are the things that's going on. And I like the banking. Sister Andrea, I like the banking thing. Okay? We gotta look for the weakest link in the chain, yeah? If we go for the head, which is the IRS, we dead. We go for the bank. We go for the Kuei petition. Yeah? And the thing about it is that no aina, no ola. No more life. That's what Abercrombie came back here to make sure that the Hawaiian, Kapehe, the prophet said, yeah, the people on the ground, the low people will rise, and the people up will go down. In his prophecy. It is happening. His prophecy. He's not even recognized as being the one who gave life. By the grace of God, he blew breath into Kauikeaole. When everybody around him was all moaning already. Oh, he's dead. Kapehe, who used to walk from Kona to Kau, back and forth. They looked at him as being one nut. He said, he's not dead. So we are basically the life right here. Today we have 30 people. Maybe next time we have 50. And maybe the next time we get 100. Okay? But what you need to do is, if you have access to 20, 30 people in your own group, or in your own area, you do it. Sit down, talk with them.
Yeah.
Yeah? We don't have to just make sure that is focused by Leon and myself. All right? Thank you very much.
Okay,
Ma.
Ma.
One thing, reason why I'm opening my mouth a lot, because I get 11 grandchildren and 5 children, and on my Aina, I've had 20,000 kids from every ethnic group, every walk of life where I cannot save these kids. And so that's why I open my mouth a lot.
No, that's good. I mean, you've got something to say. That's fabulous. Don't ever shut it up.
Amen.
Okay.
I'm gonna, that's my
All right. Mahalo. Cooley, would you like to close our
Oh, hello, brother.
close our meeting? Thank you. You want to close?
His second language is English. So he was born and raised under the real language of our Aina. So he's going to just treat you with his first language.
Hi. Mahalo.
Beautiful.
Okay, this is a surprise. Hello, may kakopakayapal.
Hello, no.
So to end our gathering here tonight, we want to make sure that we all leave here with aloha in our pu'uwai and our au in that we leave with ha'a as well. So if we could all gather in a circle. Yeah.
Where's Pono?
I don't know.
Where's Pono?
Probably
Still
upstairs.
smoking. He still smokes.
Oh, yes. The missing link.
So with everyone here, as you're holding hands with people on the side of you, let them know that you're with each other with aloha, with kindness, with everything that is good. Everything that our kupuna has taught us that is of good, and that we make sure that we leave here with that. So if you folks are familiar with the Oli Mahalo, join me. Uhola ia ka makaloala, puga ike aloha, puga ia ka aloala, pavehi mai na lehua, mai ka ho'oku ia ka halava ila, mahalo e